Who's hosting this show? Hi, this is Amy Lewis.
Amy or makeup.
This is Engineers Unplugged. Hi, this is Amy Lewis, and we're back for an amazing episode of Engineers Unplugged. We've got Diane and Daneyon, and we're going to be talking about OpenShift. They have a massive whiteboard going on behind us. It's drawn a crowd. So Diane, tell us what's up.
All right, well, so we're thrilled to be here at OpenStack Summit with Daneyon Hansen, who's one of the contributors to the OpenShift projects. We're thrilled to have some amazing cross-community collaboration going on with Cisco on the OpenShift project, as well as some of the work that Daneyon's going to talk about is the work that he's done bringing in some Puppet modules and updating them to extend our load balancing support. So I'm going to hand it over to Daneyon right now and let him, my contributor of the month, to explain a little bit about what he's doing.
Thanks, Diane. So as Diane mentioned, I've been working on OpenShift for probably about the last 6 months. The focus that I've had has been around providing better automation for OpenShift as it relates to OpenStack, so making sure that OpenShift works very well in an OpenStack environment. My recent contributions have been around high availability, as Diane mentioned, HA proxy. There are some other tools and functionality that I've worked on so that a user of an OpenShift environment could feel comfortable that if core services or components of the platform were to fail, that the service would still be up and functioning, that OpenShift would still be up and working as you'd want it to be. And then the other piece is scaling it out as well, not just making the services highly available, but making sure that as a user deploys OpenShift on OpenStack or anywhere they decide to deploy it, that it'll be able to scale out as their application and user base grows. So just to talk a little bit about what we're doing here at Cisco, I've broken our ideas down into 4 quadrants. In the upper left-hand quadrant, you'll see Open Cloud Platform. So that's really what I'm working on and what some of my teammates are working on as well. And I break down the Open Cloud Platform into a few different layers. Obviously, Cisco being a server, router, switch, storage company, we've got the physical infrastructure layer here. And then the infrastructure as a service layer, we've been involved with OpenStack for several years now. And so OpenStack is a big piece of our open cloud platform concept. The next layer, platform as a service, this is where the highlight of our conversation, and that in the heart of it is OpenShift, and we'll get into that in more detail. And then of course we need to be able to manage the environment, monitor the environment, and really manage it from an entire life cycle standpoint. So we need to be able to support management, and then this is all great, but if we can't deploy and again manage applications and those applications don't run well in the environment, then what is the rest of it really useful for, right?
Infrastructure without platform as a service is really not very useful.
Right. So let's go a little bit deeper into what I've been working on, as well as that intersection between OpenShift and OpenStack. And that's this upper right-hand quadrant. So a user of an OpenStack environment that wants to deploy and manage OpenShift on OpenStack, they would be able to very easily use a heat template, provide a handful of parameters within that heat template, within one command, go ahead and push that to heat, and then have heat do really all the hard work for us. Heat is going to go ahead and talk to all of our OpenStack services, Keystone, make sure that the authentication users are set up for the OpenShift environment, that it's going to go ahead and talk to Neutron, so that Neutron sets up the network ports that the broker and the nodes will attach to. We'll get into a little more detail on what the broker and the nodes are within an OpenShift environment.
The other thing is the templates for doing all of this are in the OpenStack heat template directory for OpenShift Enterprise, Origin, on RHEL, on Fedora, and on CentOS 6.5 now. So everything we're talking about, you can go off and try it now in the GitHub. It's all
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Everything we're doing here, everything we're talking about is all in the open. So wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have an open cloud approach and keep it to ourselves, all right? But anyways, as I said, Heat's doing all the hard work for us. It's going talking to all the necessary OpenStack services to go ahead and support an OpenShift deployment. And then Heat works well with config management tools. The config management tool that we're using is called Puppet. And Heat basically hands off the configuration of the OpenShift instances, the broker and the nodes, and Heat hands off the rest of the configuration. Puppet, when it completes its configuration, signals back to Heat that, hey, I'm done configuring, everything's all good, and the user gets notified that the stack is up and functioning, as well as provide some basic login information how to access the stack. These other areas, the OpenShift architecture, we talked about the broker and the nodes. At a high level, the broker's handling all the management functionality, exposing the API endpoints to users, and the node is actually, or the nodes are running the applications themselves and talking to one another over a message queue. Let me hand it over to Diane just to talk a little bit about the last quadrant.
All right. Well, the last quadrant is where all the excitement is happening. You may have heard about OpenShift Gears, where your applications are living and breathing, but for our next episode of Engineers Unplugged, I'm going to come back and talk all about something called Gear Wobbly D. Gear D. So if you go on the OpenShift, the origin OpenShift.com site, you'll start reading all about Gear D, which is one of our pieces of the architecture that is helping us enable OpenShift to deploy Docker images at scale and integrate them and scale them and manage them in a real production enterprise environment. So I think that's what the next episode is. Come back, Amy, come back.
Okay, that was awesome. I think you hands down win best diagram we've ever had on Engineers Unplugged, and best use of the red pen. Right. So, but we're not done. We have Open Unicorn Challenge. So it's a community, everybody contributes. Let's see your best OpenShift unicorn. Go. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to accept that as we've never had somebody do an interpretive dance. No, I'm.
There we go.
You know,
I don't know what
when you have smart people on the show, you learn to give over control very quickly. So thank you, Daneyon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane, and we'll see you next time on Engineers Unplugged.